Hi everyone and welcome to Just Love. My name is Paula and I'm here with Judy. Hi Judy.
Hi Paula, hi everyone.
In our last episode, Judy read two very beautiful messages from her book, The Way of the Forest. The first one was A Spring of Sweet Water and the second one was entitled The River, and it's this second one that we'll discuss first. This message was given to Judy by a tall Grey Mantid teacher by the name of Garnibis. Judy has written about this tall grey female teacher in her books, but we have never discussed her here on Just Love. So today Judy is going to share with us how she was led to Garnibis and how she received the beautiful message called The River.
Yes, Paula. Garnibis, spelt with a G but pronounced like a J, was one of the tall Grey Mantid teachers visiting the home of my friend Helene back in the early 2000s. Helene co-authored our book entitled The Zeta Message, in which she tells an amazing story of these almost nightly visits involving her two children, Kira and Ben. Ben was only 7 years old when this contact began and was absolutely terrified, so a lot of assistance was needed. Kira, the daughter, aged 12 when the contact began, soon became very familiar and comfortable with Oris, the other grey teacher, who came almost nightly to take her up on the ship on which I was working. Having me there helped her to overcome her fear. But poor Ben just kept getting very worrying about one-night terrors. The teacher who was trying to work with him was Garnibis, but she just couldn't seem to break through his terror. One night in desperation, she called on Oris and Kira to help, and they in turn called on Helene. Helene got a strong message that Ben needed to hold his hands out, palms up, which would allow his teacher to connect with him energetically via his heart meridians and palm chakras. With his mum close by, he was willing to try, and as soon as the connection was made, his fear totally dissipated. This story is told on page 252 in our book, The Zeta Message. At that time, we thought her name was Garnibis, which is the name used in the book, but I was told later that the correct name is Garnibis. When she touched Ben's palms, he described the feeling as warm and tingly. Helene asked him the next morning if he remembered anything of what had happened, and he did. She asked him again what it felt like, and his answer was, all tingly and gooey, like you, Mum. In his 11-year-old way, he was trying to describe the soft, gentle, lovingly maternal energy felt in the presence of a mother figure. By gooey, he meant it made him feel warm, safe, and happy inside. He even wrote a poem about it later, entitled Touched by an Angel. Once this conscious connection was made, Ben's night terrors, which had gone on for 4 years, stopped completely. The funny thing was, Ben's experience, especially when we were later given Garnibis' correct name, reminded me strongly of somebody who had a very deep influence on my spiritual path just prior to my daytime contact experienced in 1983. We were living on an acreage property outside of town, and some friends who lived close by were very much into spirituality. The husband in particular was forever telling me that I needed to learn to meditate, delivering exactly the same message as the one I received from my Grey family in 1983. This was just prior to that in the early 1980s. The really weird thing was this friend's name was Jan, spelt with a G, but like Garnibis, pronounced as a J. I strongly suspect that Garnibis was working through him. He was a lovely, kind man who had a lot of influence in getting my feet started on the spiritual path. Back then, there weren't many people you could talk to about such things, but Jan always encouraged me, lent me books, and was happy to talk. He put me onto Jane Roberts' books, Seth Speaks and The Nature of the Psyche, which really helped to open things up for me.
That was definitely not by sheer coincidence about John and Garnibis. How amazing. Judy, in the other message entitled A Spring of Sweet Water, non-attachment is broached. It's discussed eloquently when the message talks about how our soul always flows towards union with oneness, and how the emotions and earthly desires which entangle us in the web of mortal life must eventually be left behind. It also talks about practicing non-attachment by not allowing our possessions and the satisfying of our physical desires to be our whole reason for living. The message gives us very helpful analogies, but at the end of the day, non-attachment is easier said than done. Can you add to this in any way or give us tools from your dual soul's perspective?
Yes, Paula, I totally agree that it is easier said than done, living as we are, trapped in the illusion of life as physical 3D humans on the physical 3D earth plane. I think the most important thing is to try to keep firmly in mind that this physical 3D aspect is an illusion compared with the greater reality, and that it's only a very small part of our whole soul aspect, and that in reality we are immortal spiritual beings. Yes, we are here to gain experience of what physical life is all about. Trying to deny ourselves that experience will only hold us back in the end. We've chosen to be here, so we might as well enjoy it and learn as much as we can, but don't get drowned in it. Try to hold on to the understanding and acknowledgement that in the greater reality we are so much more. Many people get so frustrated and even depressed that they haven't been able to achieve certain things in life. Things such as meeting the right partner and living happily ever after, having children, travelling, making lots of money, becoming famous, getting a particular job that they want. Sure, life may not go the way we want it to this time around, but we always get more chances in other lives to achieve certain goals, if we're meant to. The most important thing is to gain spiritually rather than materially. This is where the universal laws of reflection, attraction and manifestation come into play. By practicing spirituality to the best of our ability, these laws assist us to live our life in the best possible way. It's through these laws that we create our own reality, either positive or negative, depending upon what we focus our minds on. To put this simply, what we reflect and put out spiritually is what we trap to ourselves and manifest in our life.
That's a great answer. Thank you so much, Jude. It's so important to always keep that in mind. To read more about all of this, Judy's books are available through Amazon and can be ordered through links on the website below.
And my books are Human by Day, Zeta by Night, followed by The Zeta Message, then Extraterrestrial Presence on Earth, Lessons in History, and my two most recent books, both Kindle editions, and both also available in German, An Interview with an Alien, Comments by an Undercover ET, and Cosmic Spirituality, Blending Religion and Science in Oneness from an Off-Planet Perspective.
Thanks, Jude, and thanks everyone for listening. Please share, like and subscribe. Sending you all much love, and bye for now.